There are many fighters who have accomplished a lot in mixed martial arts, but they sometimes do it more often by losing than they do by winning. To fans, it doesn't matter as long as they put it all on the line, and these fighters do. Whether they are remembered for their exciting, close decision losses or by going out on their shield every time out, these top 10 fighters broke the rules and still lost. So let's get started. But before that, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Number 10. Jason McDonald. Canadian mixed martial artist Jason McDonald has a UFC record of 5-6, and most of his losses have come against the division's best fighters, including Rich Franklin, Yushin Okami, and Demian Maia. His most memorable fight may be his grappling war with Maia. He exchanged positions with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt for the better part of 3 rounds before getting caught in a rear naked choke in the last round. It was one of the best fights that was fought exclusively on the ground. His fight with former UFC middleweight champion Rich Franklin was a chance for him to get a shot at the champion Anderson Silva. He didn't get a chance to get into the fight and didn't come out for the 3rd round after taking a severe beating in the 2nd. Number 9. Matt Lindland. Many people wouldn't have guessed this 2000 Olympic silver medalist had a UFC record of 9-3. His most famous bout of his 12-fight UFC career was his 24-second knockout suffered at the hands of a very young David Terrell. He also lost his only UFC title shot to Murilo Bustamante in a fight that didn't go without controversy. Lindland was trapped in an armbar early and appeared to have tapped. After Bustamante let go, Lindland said he didn't tap, and the fight was restarted. He was submitted again in the 3rd round. Unfortunately for Lindland, a lot of his losses have come by brutal knockout, and that's mainly why he is on here. Knockout losses to Vitor Belfort, Terrell, and Robbie Lawler are quite memorable and disturbing. He also fought against Fedor Emelianenko and Quinton Rampage Jackson. He lost but put up good fights in both. Many thought he had won the fight against Rampage. Number 8. Stephen Bonnar. The Ultimate Fighter 1 finalist, Stephen Bonnar, is known for his bloody wars and one of the most famous fights in MMA history against Forrest Griffin at the TUF 1 finale in 2005. That loss is part of the most memorable fight on this list. Other losses to light heavyweight contenders before they were contenders show up on his record. They include Rashad Evans, John Jones, Lyoto Machida, and his 2nd fight with Forrest Griffin. His wins are also impressive, but nothing he ever does will be remembered for more than that night he lost to Griffin. Number 7. Heath Herring. The Texas Crazy Horse Heath Herring had an extensive career fighting in Pride FC and also had a mini run inside the leading MMA organization in the world. His UFC debut was a highly anticipated bout that he lost to Jake O'Brien. He may be most known for his exciting trilogy with Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. He didn't win any of the 3 bouts, but they were all competitive and exciting. He came his closest to defeating the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard in the 3rd fight when he landed a vicious head kick that put him down. Nogueira recovered and won a unanimous decision. Other losses to Brock Lesnar, Fedor Emelianenko, and Mirko Cro Cop Filipovic highlight his career of over 40 fights. Number 6. Clay Guida. 3 fights, 3 losses, 3 Fight of the Year candidates. That's what defines the Clay the Carpenter Guida whenever he enters the octagon. Guida is a fan-favorite fighter, and all you'd have to look at are his 3 losses to Tyson Griffin, Diego Sanchez, and Roger Horta to see why. They were all close, back-and-forth bouts that he came up short in winning, but not in gaining a huge fan base. Guida is the perfect example of what it means to fight for the fans, and his losses are the best highlights of a solid UFC career that also includes 8 victories. Number 5. Hidehiko Yoshida. Japanese fighter and 1992 Olympic gold medalist Hidehiko Yoshida had 12 fights in Pride FC and also fought in Sengoku and Dream events. He participated in 3 of the Pride Grand Prix tournaments. He has had some memorable wars, including fights with Wanderlei Silva twice and James Thompson. He also received one of the most brutal beatings with leg kicks from Mirko Cro Cop Filipovic in the opening round of the Pride Grand Prix Absolute. Number 4. Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt had 2 exciting split-decision victories over Wanderlei Silva and Mirko Cro Cop. But it's hard to ignore the 6-fight losing streak from 2006 to 2010 to some of the very best fighters competing in MMA today. They include Fedor Emelianenko, Josh Barnett, Gegard Mousasi, Alistair Overeem, and Melvin Manhove. His UFC debut against Sean McCorkle was an anticipated debut, but he lost by Kimura in the first round. Many enjoyed watching the Iron Chin Simone test his chin against some of the best strikers, but man offended that when he knocked him out in 18 seconds. Number 3. Enson Inoue. Enson Inoue has a win over former UFC champion Randy Couture, but that is not even close to his most memorable moment. That came in one of the most brutal beatings in the history of the sport, when he took on Ukrainian Igor Bobchanchin at Pride 10. He suffered a terrible 10-minute beating and couldn't even make it back to his corner without the assistance of several of his trainers. He spent 4 days in the hospital and had several injuries, including a ruptured eardrum, cracked jaw, broken finger, and a critical brain injury. Number 2. Phil Baroni. The best Eva Phil Baroni had a UFC record of 3-7, with some notable fights against Evan Tanner, Matt Lindland, and Pete Sell. His most memorable UFC moment came at UFC 45 versus Evan Tanner, when the referee quickly stopped his bout after he thought he told him to stop it while in a bad position. He attacked the referee and went on a mini rampage. They had a rematch at UFC 47, and Baroni lost again. Baroni also fought in Strikeforce and LATXT, but didn't win any of his bouts, including a grudge match versus Frank Shamrock for the Strikeforce Middleweight Championship. A return to the UFC didn't fare well for him. He lost 2 fights and was released once again. Number 1. Kevin Randleman. If you measure a fighter's success in MMA by the level of competition they fought, Kevin the Monster Randleman is one of the best. He just couldn't beat any of them. Losses to Mirko Filipovic, Bas Rutten, Quinton Jackson, Mauricio, Shogun Rua, Fedor Emelianenko, Kazushi Sakuraba, Randy Couture, and Chuck Liddell are the highlights of his career, and that's pretty amazing. His most memorable fight was against Fedor Emelianenko, when he suplexed the Russian legend on his head. The last emperor immediately recovered to reverse the position and submitted Randleman by Kimura soon after. These were the top 10 fighters broke the rules and still lost each time. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for watching more videos in future.